Hey, what is up, you guys? Today is the 20th of January 2024, and yeah, we going to carry on with Trig, and I hope you guys are doing well. So it's in the early AMs, right? Around 6 a.m. in the morning. So let's dive into Trig identities, okay? Trig identities. I know most learners don't like trig identities because they are very tricky, because with trig identities you have to know how to factorize, you need to understand fractions, you need to understand how to find products, this and that, there's just a whole lot of algebra that's required when you're dealing with trig identities. And there's this identity that we've been asked to prove. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to prove it, but we're just going to try. Hey, we're just going to try. Yeah, okay, so it's equal to 1 over the cosine of x minus the tangent of x squared. So prove the identity. Prove the identity. Okay, where do we start? Do we start on the left hand side? Do we start on the right hand side? What do we do? But I mean, from what I'm seeing, the right hand side looks a bit more complicated than the left hand side. So the right hand side more complicated than the left hand side. So that's why I'm going to say, okay, let's focus on the right hand side, which is equal to I don't know what the problem is. Just a second, sorry you guys. There we go. All right, so the right hand side is equal to 1 over the cosine of x minus the tangent of x squared. So we're going to try and simplify. The first thing is we're going to change that. We're going to change that. Right, and we know the identity for that. So 1 over cosine of x minus sin x over what? Over the cosine of x squared. Now we've got the same denominator, so meaning that we're just going to say 1 minus sin x over the cosine of x squared. We apply the laws of exponents. We know this is going to become 1 minus sine squared x. 1 minus sine squared x divided by what? By cos squared x. Alright. The square is out because everything is squared now. In fact, I made a mistake here. It was supposed to be like this. Okay. Yes. Sorry about that. Unfortunately, when I'm doing a video, you guys can't even tell me that, hey, say no, man, there's something fishy there, so I have to sort of like self-correct, which is quite difficult. Right, so anyway, then we're going to change this because I mean we already have this on the left hand side, so we're not going to tamper with that. We want to change the cosine squared, and remember the square identity for cosine squared, the sine squared is equal to 1. That's the one that we're using, whereby cosine squared is the subject of the formula. So 1 minus sine x all squared divided by 1 minus sine squared x. I hope you guys can see. Okay, 1 minus sine squared x. But you see this the denominator we can actually factorize. It's actually fun because there was a time whereby I found it very difficult to differentiate between denominator and numerator. Sometimes I'd say the denominator is the numerator and the numerator is the denominator. Yeah, but now that I spend most of the time teaching, well, I have to know the difference, you know. So yeah. So look, we've got something beautiful here. So this and that are exactly identical, but here we've got two of these expressions. Here it's only one. So we cancel. So we're just going to be left with what? 1 minus sine x. Alright. So now our answer is 1 minus sine x over 1 plus sine x. Right? 1 minus sine x over 1 plus sine x. And yes. So this is actually equal to the left hand side. So equal to the left hand side. So proof is complete. Right? The proof is complete. So let's try another one, and hopefully we're not going to get stuck. But hey, by the look of things, we're probably going to get stuck. Probably going to get, you know, when you're stuck and now you need time to think, and you're recording a video, so while you're thinking, it's taking longer than expected. Becomes a problem. So that's the thing with you know, videos, right? Not just with videos, but even when you teaching live, because sometimes you're just not sure. You just need a little bit more time to actually solve the problem. And trust me, solving these type of problems, algebra problems, before you start teaching, it just seems to be a lot of work. I'm telling you, it's a lot of work. So okay, so the left hand side looks neat. Okay, so let's go to the right. Right, so the cosine of A over 1 minus the tangent of A, it's gonna go down pretty badly. you guys will see the way this thing looks. Let's hope we do actually break it down. All right, so this is the right hand side, and we have been, you know, tasked to actually, you know, break it down. But I mean, whenever you see tangent of anything, you need to get rid of that. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to get rid of the tangent of A. So the cosine of A, 1 minus the sine of A divided by what? The cosine of A. This is where we get to see if your algebra is actually real or it's fake. Okay, and cosine of A minus the sine of A. So what we're going to do is we're gonna so here we are going to how do I explain it? So because this is just 1, we turn it into a fraction, then we find the sum. Do you understand? So it's the denominator here needs to be cosine of A. So yes, it needs to be cosine of A. So meaning that we're going to multiply the 1 with cosine of A over cosine of A. Right? So remember cosine of A, which is this, cosine of A divided by, you're allowed to do this, divided by the 1, you can rewrite it as 1 over 1. You can rewrite it as 1 over 1, and then times cosine of A over cosine of A. We're doing this because we want the same denominators. Remember, when we've got the same denominator, then you can add the numerators. And then sine A over cosine of A. This is just that. Alright, so this is just that. The whole expression is the same as this. So don't panic as yet. So the sine squared A divided by cosine of A minus the sine of A. So look, now we still got the cosine of A divided by, so here now, you know, 1 times cosine of A, that's just cosine of A. So basically we just have cosine of A over cosine of A. Alright, we just have cosine of A over cosine of A. That's what we have. So when the denominators are the same, then what we can do is we can operate on the numerators. So numerators, that's cosine of A minus the sine of A all over what? The cosine of A. Beautiful. And now we're getting something that looks like that. Okay, so once you start, you know, seeing common expressions, that means we probably headed in the right direction. Okay, so now look, we are going to turn this into multiplication. So the cosine of A times cosine of A divided by cosine of A minus the sine of A minus sine squared A all over cos A minus sine A. Okay, so obviously this and that, they're gonna give you what? Cos squared A, and I mean we already got the same denominator. Okay, so same denominator as that. So cos squared A minus sine squared A divided by what? Cos A minus sine A. Beautiful, isn't it? And then we can factorize because we want this to cancel. Alright, so if we can, I mean this is the difference of two squares, one square, another square. So if we factorize that, you will see this will show up in the numerator. So let's do that. So the cosine of A minus the sine of A, and then cosine of A plus the sine of A divided by cosine of A minus the sine of A. Now you can see that this and that are exactly the same. Okay, they're exactly the same. So what are we left with? The cosine of A plus the sine of A, and this is equal to the left hand side. So ladies and gentlemen, the proof is done, and let's move on to the next one. And trust me, it's not looking so pretty, but you guys will see. So we've got the sine of 2x plus cos x it's all over the cosine of 2x minus sine x minus 1, and apparently this is equal to minus 1 over the tangent of x. Okay, and I'm pretty sure you and I can agree that the left hand side is actually the one that looks, you know, tedious, so that's the one that we're going to be focusing on. So we've got sine 2x on the left hand side plus the cosine of x, and divided by the cosine of 2x minus sine x minus 1. I mean, you guys need to understand that when you're deciding on what identity you need to use to replace cosine of 2x, you first need to think about, okay, what is it that we need in order for us to be able to simplify. For instance, you can see that here there's negative 1. So that means that you need to go for the identity that's got positive 1. Because remember, cosine has got 3 identities. So if we had sine sine squared here isolated, then I would go for the identity which has got, you know, sine squared for cosine of 2x, because I want these things to cancel out. That's the most important thing, you know. They need to cancel out. So if I can have an identity which has got, you know, positive 1, and I know the positive 1 and the negative 1, they will cancel. And in that way, when we don't have a 1, it becomes easier for us to factorize. Because when the situation is like this, there's a 1 over there, to take out a common factor becomes very difficult. So, like I've already said in the previous videos, the sine of 2x has got only one identity, so we're just going to say 2 sine x cos x, or 2 cos x sine x, doesn't make any difference, divided by, so the identity for cos 2x, I'm just going to say 1 minus 2 sine squared x. Okay, that's cos 2x, and then minus sine x minus 1. So in the numerator, what can we take out as a common factor? I hope you said cosine of x out, and then 2 sine of x plus 1. We go to the denominator. This one and that one, they cancel out, so we're just left with what? Minus 2 sine squared x minus sine x. And in the numerator, I believe we do have a common factor. So cosine of 2x, 2 sine x plus 1 divided by what? So common factor here, minus 2 sine what? Okay, 2 is not a common factor, so it's just minus sine x out, minus sine x out, so we've got now 2 sine x plus 1. Now we've got 2 sine x in the numerator, also 2 sine x in the denominator. What do we do? So we're left with minus the cosine of x over the sine of x. But remember, this is just minus sine x over cos x. Remember, when you flip a fraction, you need to put that negative over there. Alright, that negative. So now this is minus what? Minus sine x over cos x. What's that? Tangent of x to exponent negative 1. Now you guys know that negative 1 means it's 1 over tan x. The laws of exponents? Yes. So 1 over tan x. And I mean the negative, we can either put it in the denominator or there by the numerator. It doesn't really make any difference. And this is equal to the right hand side. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's enough. If I do more than this, I think you guys' heads are going to start spinning. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson, and yeah, spread the word so that more and more people can find out about the channel. Then they get to enjoy math. Maths is not supposed to be difficult, you guys. Yeah, if you learn it right, well, it becomes super easy. But yeah, so shout out until next time.